Sportscast. If you haven't yet, please subscribe on all our channels: Periscope, iTunes, Facebook, YouTube, and if you haven't yet, please on iTunes rate and review our show, leave a rating, and it will help us out tremendously. And of course, visit us on thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net. Today's sponsor is Instant Bible app. If you haven't yet, go to the Apple App Store and get Instant Bible app. The NFL has kept sports alive this week. Major signings and trades happening all throughout the week, still happening, and it'll probably continue on until next week and further along. But what will that do for the NFL draft? We have Mr. Tyler Turner to explain what's happening. Tyler, welcome back to the Sportscast.
Welcome back, dude.
So, of course, the NFL draft is great, but a lot of these signings and these trades do affect the Mockups, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, most definitely.
Which ones?
Yeah, go ahead.
Which ones have you really significantly noticed?
Well, I mean, I think the one that I immediately, several, but the one that I immediately thought of was many people thought the Indianapolis Colts were going to draft a quarterback in the first round, but obviously they traded out. They took DeForest Buckner from the San Francisco 49ers, and the 49ers got their first round pick. So that was a big one. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously signed Tom Brady. They were possibly in play at number 14, and you could take them out of it. Jacksonville Jaguars, because they got rid of Nick Foles, could they possibly be open to taking a quarterback at 9? They also have a pick at number 20. What was another one that I saw that I thought really impacted? The Vikings added another first-round pick. I don't think that's as much a quarterback because they signed.
I do have a few teams, so once you're done,
Kirk Cousins to an extension.
Right.
Yeah. So those are You go ahead. You say something and we can go from there.
Yeah. How about the Chargers? Obviously, they were rumored to get Brady. They say Tyrod Taylor. What do you think? And they have the 6th spot in the draft, of course.
So that's the other side of the coin. People that didn't do anything. So you asked me the question: who changed that maybe moved them out or moved around? So if you want to go to the other side of the coin, which would be who didn't really do anything, that just leaves them in position to take, for instance, the Chargers didn't get Brady. They have not traded for Cam Newton or for Jameis Winston. So you would think that possibly that just is leaving them in a position to take a quarterback.
Correct.
The same with the Dolphins currently. They didn't do anything. So that would leave them in position to take a quarterback. Of course, the Bengals, they didn't do anything. So that would leave them in position to take a quarterback. So I just think that's kind of maybe more like chalk with those three. People always had those three taking a quarterback, and they didn't do anything that make you not think they still would take a quarterback. Whereas the Colts were mocked up by a lot to take a quarterback, but then they made this move out of the first round by the trade for Buckner and giving away their first round pick to the Niners. That mean they basically said, hey, whoever the 4th quarterback is not good enough, or we don't value enough, so we're going to trade out and get a all-pro defensive tackle.
One team we were discussing before are the Patriots. Obviously, they lost Brady. They do have Jarrett Stidham in the bench. We talked about this before offline. Do you think they're going to try to trade up and hopefully get a quarterback? Obviously, we were saying Jordan Love could fall in that lower pool. Patriots are at number 23 in the draft order. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen with them?
A lot of the prognosticators that I read don't seem to be really strongly leaning towards the direction. They could draft a quarterback at the number 23 pick, but I also see them a lot pushing the narratives of trading for a Josh Rosen, trading for a Jameis Winston, trading for a Jacoby Brissett, and maybe not necessarily settling for a 4th option at quarterback. maybe they'll draft a quarterback in the second round like a Jake Fromm, or possibly maybe a Jacob Eason. It's kind of tough to get a read because for them to get things could fall right for them. Hypothetically, let's say, Burrow goes at number 1, and then you have the Chargers and the Dolphins stay at 5 and 6. The Dolphins pick Tua Tagovailoa, and then at 6, you see the Chargers take Jordan Love. And then all of a sudden you see a run on teams that really don't need a quarterback, like the Jets and the Browns and
The Panthers.
I don't know. I'm not looking at the Panthers. And all of a sudden you see a guy like Justin Herbert dropping, and then all of a sudden the Patriots maybe draft up to like the 15th spot or something, or the 14th, and then they take Justin Herbert. You could see that, but I don't know if that's very likely because, for one, I totally could see the Dolphins and the Chargers trading up to make sure they get Tagovailoa or Herbert. So then they're both off the board, and then you got Love sitting there, and is Love loved enough? Isn't that funny? Anyways, is Love liked enough by the Patriots to trade up?
His stock has been swinging a little bit.
What'd you say?
Jordan Love's stock has been going up, or that Plan B quarterback,
Yeah, I mean, I think his stock is pretty good. I mean, I think he's going to go in the first round. I just don't know where, actually. So he's definitely, I think, kind of a wild card because it seems like some people and some teams really like him. Some prognosticators have him going really high, possibly. Other ones, not so much. Have him possibly falling to number 23 in the Patriots, maybe even lower. Maybe even to the Saints, or possibly even like a team like the Packers. So I don't know. Jordan Love is a little more of a
dark horse,
kind of all over the
card.
place. I see him early in the draft, and I also see him late, early round in the mock-ups. I see him early in the mocks, and I see him later in the first round in the mocks. Whereas you kind of consistently see, Burrow's consistently number 1. Barring something unforeseen, it seems like he's going to go 1. I guess everyone's thinking Tua is medically going to be cleared. I guess that everyone believes that he's going to be fine. So I see mostly Tua going early. Herbert's, there's some variations with Herbert. I see more towards the beginning. I think I see more people believing the Dolphins or the Chargers will draft Justin Herbert. But you do see 1 or 2 mocks here and there that have Herbert dropping a little bit. And so I don't know. Well, it is interesting. I mean, and if you just go, we're just talking about quarterbacks. It's the only position we've talked about so far.
Wide receivers.
But you see, like Arizona probably is not going to draft. Like, I thought Arizona for sure was going to draft a wide receiver, but obviously they went and got Hopkins. So they might not draft a receiver. They might draft a tackle.
Was there an 8th, everyone? They're an 8th
yeah, possibly pick. Like Tristan Wirfs, possibly Jedarick Willis, possibly Micah Becton, maybe a Andrew Thomas. So they're a team that's probably moved a different direction. I think the Niners, moving so high up, I think they're going to take a wide receiver. They could use some more weapons. So, at number 13, they could get a Henry Ruggs or possibly a CeeDee Lamb or a Jerry Jeudy. Who's another team that I think could be in a position to possibly change? I don't know right off. Well, the Colts is interesting. What are they going to do? Are they going to draft back up? Are they going to trade back up into the first round? Are the Niners, they have 2 first round, are the Niners going to try to maybe trade out of one of their spots in order to get later picks or maybe for a player of better value? There's a lot of interesting stuff. The Eagles seem to be in position to draft a wide receiver, and this is a very good wide receiver draft. So there seems to be a lot of teams and the Vikings, they lost Stephon Diggs. they need another receiver. So I would expect them to take a receiver with one of their first 2 picks. I expect the Eagles to take a receiver. I expect the Niners to take a receiver. I expect the Raiders to take a receiver with one of their 2 picks. So I think a lot of teams, Packers, you have to think, are still in position, even though you do see some mocks having them go with a tackle because they lost Brian Bulaga and they could use another offensive lineman. So do they go the offensive line route at number 30? They need receivers, though. They need some good guys. And they also lost their tight end, Jimmy Graham, so they could use a tight end. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be definitely teams are making moves. Free agency has definitely changed things a little bit, and there still is some future moves to be made. And where does a guy like Cam Newton land? Where does Jameis Winston land? Does Josh Rosen get traded? Does Jacoby Brissett get traded? Are the Redskins totally fine just chilling with Dwayne Haskins, or do they maybe make a run at another player? Maybe even draft a Tua Tagovailoa and shock everyone. So there's a lot of interesting storylines to look at right now.
Big mystery. Question from the comments. Which Alabama wide receiver in this draft will have the better NFL career?
Is it Justin?
It is.
Who do I think will?
Yeah. I mean, I would think Jerry Jeudy, hands down.
Why?
He had an amazing college career. He's definitely projected in the top 15.
Yeah, well, okay, but so could Ruggs be. I mean, why is he better than Ruggs?
I mean, that's just from my perception. I don't have stats in front of me.
Well, no, I was at you were like Jerry Jeudy without. You kind of said Jerry Jeudy without question. So I was just like, why is Jerry Jeudy beyond a shadow of a doubt going to be a better pro than Henry Ruggs?
I mean, I see it in the mock-ups. He's first over him.
Let's take off the mocks.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's pretty close. It's actually pretty close. I've seen Ruggs go. I actually just looked at a mock and I don't look at every mock. If it's by some no name, who cares what they say? So I try to look at Daniel Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks, Todd McShay, Mel Kiper, Ben Solak, Matt Miller. He's kind of a goofball, but yeah, I look at him. So I try to look at the ones that are the most connected, the most sources, and we're a lot of times former scouts or themselves. I don't know. This is what an argument could be made for Henry Ruggs. He's faster. He's just plain and simple faster than Jerry Jeudy. And that gives you an advantage in one very important area when it comes to the wide receiver position. Now, is straight line speed the only parameter to testing how good a wide receiver's projection is moving forward? No, it's not. Obviously, you have plenty of 4.2, 4.3 guys who went on to have very average careers. And you had guys that were 4.5, 4.6 that went on to be Hall of Famers. There's so many different things like route running, ball skills, physicality that play into someone being a good receiver. I just wouldn't go beyond a shadow of a doubt and say Jerry Jeudy is unquestionably going to be the more productive NFL player. Judy's a great route runner. He's a great playmaker. He makes people miss in space. But he's not a big guy. He's a very slight guy. He doesn't have blazing speed. Ruggs is blazing fast. He's fastest guy in this year's NFL Combine. Fastest guy in college football. He does have something that is very hard to match. It's hard to match a guy with speed, and you could see him being like a Mike Wallace. You could see him being like I'm trying to think of another guy that's similar, like a Deshaun Jackson, who is just a real big-time matchup nightmare from either the slot or outside. Could Jeudy be better? I like Jeudy as a route runner better. I think he's a little more consistent pass catcher. I think Jeudy goes before him. I think it's close. I think like for instance, if I were going to do a mock today, and it's changed because I did a slight mock on the Sportscast 5 days ago, and I had CeeDee Lamb going to Arizona. I don't think he goes to Arizona now.
After this week's news, things change.
Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb goes to Oakland, and then I think at 13, San Francisco takes Jerry Jeudy. But I have Ruggs going probably. I'm not looking at the who's drafting, but where's the Eagles draft?
Eagles, I got the numbers right in front of me. Eagles are 21st.
Okay, so who's 14?
14 is the Buccaneers.
15.
Broncos.
Broncos could use some receivers. They could use some guys for Drew Lock.
Ryan Krista has requested it.
I would say Henry Ruggs is a good pick there. Maybe Jordan Jefferson, or Ruggs could go at 21. So they're not going to go drastically. There's not going to be a big difference in where they're drafted. Jeudy might go, like I said, 13 to the Niners, and then you've got Ruggs there at 15. So. And Ruggs can do some things that Jeudy can. He has better straight line speed. He's a more explosive athlete. That's a good question by Justin Riley. And I'm not if you're going to say who do I think is going to be the most productive wide receiver, it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. I think he's the best ball skills. I think he has great physicality. I think he's very good at making play get yak, which is yards after the catch. I like CeeDee Lamb best. I think he's going to be the best player at the wide receiver position.
Which you think
I love Brandon Ayuk. I love Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. I think he makes people miss. I think he's extremely physical, and I like those kind of receivers at the next level. I like Jordan Jefferson. He's a good route runner. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. I like Denzel Mims. He's extremely explosive. He's a big, strong, fast, quick guy. Yeah, that's a good question.
You'll get back to us on that.
I'm actually gonna go Henry Ruggs. Okay. If you're gonna ask me today, the reason why is I think he's a matchup difference maker more so than Jeudy. And I do like Jeudy as a pass catcher. I do like him as a route runner. He's always been good ever since he was a high school prep guy. But I like Ruggs as being a mismatch difference. And he's someone different than the others because I'm looking at route runner. Judy's good, but so is Jordan Jefferson. So is CeeDee Lamb. So is Brandon Ayuk. I don't know. Yeah, it's gonna be close. That's a good question though. Any other questions there?
No other questions. Obviously, there was some news that came out this morning that the Dolphins were planning to have Tua come visit their training camp last week. Of course, due to the coronavirus, that had to be canceled. Tyler, does that have any speculations that the Dolphins are leaning towards Tua?
Well, is it Armando Zancaro? He covers for the Miami Herald. I posted some stuff that he said. I think he's been as tough as on this whole situation with the Dolphins as you can get right now. I think they definitely want to see where he's at physically. So it makes sense because the big question mark about Tua right now is has he recovered and how fully recovered and how will he be after his hip injury? And that, I think, is a question mark that someone like the Dolphins want answered, that someone like the Chargers might want answered. So it made sense that they tried to move him in because, for instance, if the Dolphins really want Tua, they might have to trade up, which means they might have to get rid of their other first-round pick, or they might have to get rid of, like, second- and third-round picks. And the Dolphins aren't a very good team. They need all the picks and all the players that they can get. So to give away picks, especially first-round picks, for a guy, they want to make sure that he is healthy, that he can be Tua Tagovailoa, that put up those ridiculous numbers at Alabama and not be a shell of himself, and someone who just is going to get injured and will not really be a successful NFL player. So yes, it says a lot that they're very interested, and they're unquestionably interested in Tua. Because you got Burrow going at 1. I don't think the Redskins draft a quarterback. I think they go Chase Young.
Well, that's the thing. Like, the Redskins is the spoiler. No one knows exactly what they're going to do.
I don't. Okay, that is true. But other than a few people that are really going out on the line in the mock drafts, for the most part, I see them thinking that they stick with Chase Young.
Yeah, which is a great pick.
They did draft Dwayne Haskins last year. Dwayne Haskins is really liked by the owner. To go out and get another quarterback the year after, I know that it happened with the Cardinals, but that was kind of one of those situations that was a little unique.
And let me throw you a wrench. Maybe Cam Newton might go to the Redskins.
I mean, it's possible. I've also heard
groom Haskins.
I also heard possibly Cam Newton to the Lions, and I've also heard Stafford possibly getting traded to the Patriots. So, you hear these rumors, but how much of them are true, and how much of them are just? I mean, if you put stuff on Twitter, it just starts spreading like wildfire.
You just gotta follow Feldman and Schefter. Those guys know.
I wouldn't follow Feldman for the NFL. No, college football, yes. I wouldn't follow Feldman for the NFL. If you're gonna follow for NFL stuff, I would follow Adam Schefter. I would follow
the guy from the NFL Network. He's pretty good.
I mean, Daniel Jeremiah. I'd follow Bucky Brooks. Ben Solek, like I said, from the Draft Network. He's a good draft. Dan Brugler is good with the draft. He's from The Athletic. Those kind of guys. Feldman is college football.
Yeah, my bad. Ian Rappaport.
Yeah.
That was the guy I was thinking about.
Oh, Ian Rappaport, my bad.
He's the man. Yeah.
Ian Rappaport, great. Or Albert Bear, or whatever his name, from ThatSide.com. Those are the guys that I would follow for the draft. Sorry, for the draft. Yeah, they can follow the draft. Yeah, they can know draft stuff too. But I'd follow them for any NFL movement. Schefter's awesome. He predicted Brady gone a long time ago, way before everyone else.
But not Tampa though.
But when it comes to, I mean, unquestionably, Miami is wanting probably because they haven't made any movement. Josh Rosen wasn't spectacular, and he was a guy that they just got traded there anyways. Ryan Fitzpatrick is just a plug gap guy.
Yeah, he's just a groomer.
So unquestionably, Miami's interested in a quarterback.
Yeah.
Same with San Diego. Tyrod Taylor's not your franchise quarterback. So to San Diego, unless San Diego, I guess, came out and said, I believe it was according to Ian Rappaport, who again is very credible, said that they're just going to stay. They're not going to get Cam Newton. They're not going to get Josh Rosen. They're not going to get Jameis Winston. They're just going to chill. And they're going to take a quarterback. So I think at this point, we can plan on 3 quarterbacks going in the top 6 picks. But I do believe if San Diego or Miami really want Tua Tagovailoa, San Diego or Miami really want Justin Herbert, I believe they will trade up to either 3 with the Lions or definitely 4 with the Giants. Because what I'm hearing with the Giants is the Giants are pretty much set on taking a tackle. Well, they can get, so let's say the Giants trade back with the Chargers, they can get the same guy at 6 that they'd get at 4.
Yeah.
So let's say they really want Tristan Wirfs. Tristan Wirfs will still be there because San Diego will take a quarterback, Miami will take a quarterback, and there's Wirfs. So I think, and then the Giants will get extra picks. They'll get later round picks probably for that. So they get extra picks, and they still get their guy. So I would expect 3 quarterbacks to go in the top 5.
Yeah, and another spoiler, as Tyler was mentioning, the Lions, they could get a quarterback as well.
They could. Matt Patricia's on the record saying that Stafford's their guy. Stafford still is very productive, and they haven't moved Stafford. So a lot of those things, I don't think so. Now, they could trade back too. Let's say they could trade back to 6 if they think like Isaiah Simmons or Jeffrey Okudu or And I think they're pretty much one of the top end defensive guys. I have seen a Kudu drop in the drafts. I don't know in mocks. I don't know why that's so much happening, but I could see the Lions possibly go to 6 because let's say they really want Isaiah Simmons. They're like, well, Isaiah Simmons is going to be there because at 4 the Giants aren't taking.
They're taking Andrew
a
Thomas,
defensive
OT.
guy. What'd you say?
They're probably going to take Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle.
Who is?
The Giants.
Where are you seeing that?
From different mockups.
Oh yeah, I've actually seen Tristan Wirfs, Mika Becton, and Jadarick Willis. I think they're rated a little higher, Thomas.
Okay. By the way, Andrew Thomas is from Georgia, guys. Just want to give you an update.
Yep. I think that Thomas is later. I think Thomas will go to about around 10 or 11. That's what I see. Which mock are you looking at?
I don't have the name right now, but I got a few mock-ups, and I see Andrew Thomas a lot, but I don't have the names. Sorry.
I mean, I guess maybe, but I think I've seen a lot of Tristan Wirfs, Jadarick Willis.
Okay, so things have changed. Because I got this mock-ups about 3 weeks ago. It might have changed.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Time. There's a comment.
I think Becton. I think Becton, Wirfs really helped themselves by their impressive combine, and Jadarick Willis was just a very productive player for Alabama. So I would think they might be. Thomas was a little inconsistent at Georgia, to be honest with you. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Should the Lions get Cam Newton as a backup to serve as a insurance policy?
No, I don't think that's. I have heard. I've seen it a few there. I just don't see that happening. I don't know where Cam's gonna go. I heard Newton and Cam Newton aren't necessarily like popping. Teams aren't exactly clamoring to get either one. And I know that Newton has the injuries.
Yeah.
He has the foot injury. And that's problematic because right now, the face-to-face has been bad because of the coronavirus. So that's problematic for Cam. And then Jameis Winston's just been an inconsistent pro. So 5 years of sample size of a guy that's just never been really consistently productive, very consistent, a lot of turnovers.
Really random quarterback. Like one game he gives you like 500 yards, and then like the next game 8 interceptions.
He's productive, but he makes too many mistakes and he doesn't win enough ball games. So I just don't think anyone's like, wow, I want Jameis Winston. So I don't know where he's going to go, and I don't know where Cam's going to go. I do believe they're both going to go somewhere. I don't know where. I thought really Cam to Chicago was definitely a possible option, but I guess they preferred Nick Foles. So, you've seen the quarterbacks who people prefer, and other ones are just not moving as quickly. But anyhow, what back kind of what I was saying, I'd really look at the Lions or Giants. I really think they move out because they can get extra picks, they can get extra really good players while still getting their first round guy. Because I think the Chargers or Dolphins are gonna try to hedge against each other to try to get the better whatever quarterback they want more.
It's funny. It's not funny, but it's interesting that you say that. If everything goes right, if the Redskins and the Lions don't pick a quarterback, Dolphins have a choice between Tua and Herbert.
And that's if the Chargers don't trade up with the Giants.
Yeah. If everything goes right now, they have a great – they're in a great pedestal right now. And, like you were saying, with this order, they got 2 other first-round picks. This is great for rebuilding.
Yeah, and that's why I think they'd be a little bit reluctant to move out of it. That's why I think because of all the picks that they have in this year's draft and because they also have 2 other first-round picks, I think that is why Miami would be reluctant. Let's say they like Tua, but because of his health concerns, they're like, I don't want to trade up for him. I don't want to give anything up for him. And we like Justin Herbert enough that, you know what, if the Chargers trade up for Tua, we're chilling. Now, What if the Chargers trade up for Herbert? For some reason, guys that I like more, that I trust more with their intel when it comes to the draft, like McShay, Jeremiah Brooks. They seemingly don't think I get kind of the vibe of some statements they've made and insinuations that the Chargers don't love Herbert. Like, he's not necessarily what they are looking for. Like, they want a little more of an off-platform guy. It seems like the Dolphins prefer Herbert.
I like
the
Herbert.
Chargers.
He's the safest pick.
So, therefore, like, if the Chargers trade up, I think they're trading up for Tua. I don't think the Chargers are trading up for Herbert. Now, if, let's say, all of a sudden, no one trades up, and the Dolphins say, hey, Tua's here at 5, we take Tua. Then at 6, then are the Chargers going to be like, well, now we do have Justin Herbert here? Or the Dolphins going to shock everyone and take Jordan Love?
That could happen. And then where Herbert falls down, that's where you've been kind of indicating that could happen.
It could, because from what I hear from these guys, it sounds as if for some reason the Chargers aren't like mega. But now there was one guy source yesterday that said that he heard that the Chargers, because they didn't get Brady, so they're like now just going to take Tua or Herbert. Now he did say Herbert, so now that made it sound like they're going to take whoever the Dolphins don't take. What will be interesting is if, let's say, the Chargers don't make the move, and they're like, you know what, we're going to take whoever the Dolphins don't take. Who are the Dolphins going to take? I think people always thought tanking for Tua. I just don't know if they're going to take Tua. I think they might take Herbert. I actually do.
Well, they did invite him last week to the training to the training facilities, but that doesn't mean much.
Well, it does mean a lot because it means they're going to want to check him out and they want to see. Because what if the Chargers trade up and get Herbert? So they're doing their due diligence. And then you always have to look at the Panthers. If they get rid of Newton, I know they signed Bridgewater, but they went to Justin Herbert's pro day. Their GM did. Are they possibly still going to take a quarterback to sit behind Bridgewater a year or two?
Bridgewater, also another person available. So, same for
who's available? Who's available?
Bridgewater.
No, he's not. The Panthers got him.
Oh, Panther.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that. That was
breaking news. Yeah, that's what I said. No.
I break a lot of news. That one fell in the cracks for me.
Yeah, they got the Saints. They got him for the Saints. So that's why Newton's on the move, because they went and got Bridgewater.
And then you were saying Winston is not getting any much calls.
Well, no, stay on this because I'm obviously breaking news to you. Just so you know, that's why everyone believes Newton's on the move, is because they went and got Bridgewater.
Oh yeah, you can't keep both.
So that is why
you
people think Newton is on the move, is because they went and got Bridgewater. But what I'm saying is they now have Bridgewater. Let's say Newton's gone. I mean, he is going to
actually.
So then will they draft a quarterback? Because Bridgewater's fine, but is he a franchise quarterback?
No.
I mean, he's a guy that's bounced around. He obviously had that horrible injury with Minnesota. He's a very good quarterback.
Is he injury prone?
He's been very good. Well, he had that bad injury, yes, that almost ended his career. But he came back. So he was 5-0 last year.
I think it was 6-0.
No, 5. He was 5-0 when Breeze was hurt, because he was out a game and Hill had played. So he was 5-0, and so he's a good quarterback. But will they draft a first round kid to sit behind Bridgewater? They might. I would lean they probably don't. Honestly, I don't think they do. I think they go with a defensive player because they need help in the defense. But I think it's possible. So it's there's a lot of unknowns right now.
Which makes it exciting. It makes the NFL draft is looking bigger now.
Yeah, if I was top 10 now, number 1, I would go Burrow. Number 2, I would go. Yeah, I'm excited by it. There's nothing else to be excited about. There's no sports going on. What else is there?
NFL's acting like there was no coronavirus.
Anyways, let's go back. Number 1, I go Burrow. Number 2,
Redskins.
I'm going to go with Chase Young.
Lions.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Jeffrey Okuda. I'm not totally. I don't feel 100% sure about that pick, but I'm gonna go Okuda to
4 Giants.
Lions. To the Lions. For the Giants. See, I'm convinced they don't draft 4. I'm gonna go. They trade with the Chargers. I think Chargers draft up to 4, and I think the Chargers take Tua at 4.
And we get Herbert.
Yep. So Dolphins get Herbert. 6 Giants take. I'm gonna go Andrew Wirfs. 7. I'm convinced Panthers take. Could they go D-line? But I'm gonna go Isaiah Simmons.
I have that.
So
Which I have that in my notes. Yeah. Simmons. And then the Cardinals. They got a wide receiver this week, so they go somewhere else.
They go offensive line. I like Jedarick Willis. He was very productive at Alabama.
How about the Jags?
Number 9,
Oof.
Jaguars. They could use defensive help, and they could use wide receiver help. They surprise people. They go with a wide receiver. They take CeeDee Lamb. Number 10, the Browns.
Which they made some moves. Got
Mika Becton, offensive lineman Mika Becton. 11 is offensive line to who's 11 again?
Jets.
Yep, they go with Andrew Thomas because he's going to be the best available at that point.
Then the Raiders.
They go with Jerry Jeudy.
And then the Colts are 13th still, right? They haven't traded or anything.
No, it's 49ers. No,
49ers traded. Okay, let me correct this.
What mock are you looking at, dude?
I'm looking at this old order.
Get rid of them.
This is from a month ago.
Yeah, get rid of it. It's changed. Go pull up the new one. On number 13, Colts, because remember the Colts traded for DeForest Buckner. So number 13, the Niners take. You know what? It doesn't seem. I don't love Ruggs there because they already have a Dabo Samuel who's kind of that freaky, explosive, all-purpose guy that Ruggs is. And then you got Jordan Jefferson as a possibility. Who's the other wide receiver that's trending? Ayuk possibly. Mims trending kind of higher.
Laviska
Shenault possibly. Man, this is tough because I'm saying Jeudy is off the board. I'm saying that Lamb is off the board. Do the Niners trade back? Let's come back to the Niners. I'm not sure there. 13. So who's 14?
14th is Tampa Bay.
They just had a wide receiver. They have some pretty good wide receivers.
And they might be getting Antonio Brown and possibly Melvin Gordon.
Yep, and then they obviously have Jones. Ronald Jones is a good player at running back, but then there's no running back that's worthy of this high a pick. At 14, I think you go with you need good defensive players. Derek Brown was a very productive player, and he's still on the board. So I'm gonna go Derek Brown from Auburn. 15.
It's the Broncos.
See, I think they need a receiver. I'm gonna say the Broncos trade up to 13 and take Henry Ruggs. The Niners go to 15, and so then they take the best available guy. They take Denzel Mims. No, take that back. They take Jordan Jefferson. So at 13, to just play this back, Niners trade back with the Broncos because the Broncos want Ruggs. And then the Niners are perfectly happy to take Jordan Jefferson. First, who's 16?
16 is the Falcons.
And now, is this a new? Now, there's been some trading going on here. Are you still looking at? Pull up a new mock.
I got the new mock, and the Falcons is number 16, and they got rid of Devontae Freeman, so they might need a running back.
No, there's no running back worthy of going that high.
Okay.
There's none of the running backs are worthy to be drafted that high this year.
Lavon Chason.
Yeah, I mean, you could always use a good defensive guy. C.J. Henderson, I don't know what their D-backs are looking like, but C.J. Henderson's a big-time dude at corner. I'm going to go Henderson, the cornerback. Now, I'm not looking at their needs. So this is a little bit
top of your head.
Now, but yeah, I'm doing this top of my head.
Number 17th is the Dallas Cowboys.
to sign Dak Prescott to a long-term deal. Obviously, you got Amari Cooper. You could always use pass rushers. I go Kayvon Chasen at 17.
Then the Dolphins again at 18.
Okay, so you got your quarterback Justin Herbert. I think you could use some wide receivers. I don't know if anyone is necessarily this worthy to go this high, but I'm going to say you take Laviska Shenault. He was a very productive player. He does have injury concerns, so this is a little bit of a, it's close between him and Denzel Mims, but I'm going to say they go with Laviska Shenault.
Then the Las Vegas Raiders, which they got Mariota this week.
Yeah, and they already drafted, so I had them drafting Judy, I believe, right? So
Yep.
They could use some defensive help. What defensive guy right now sitting on the board?
Patrick Queen, linebacker, LSU.
He's not bad. Kenneth Murray's a good player, too. But are they worthy to go that high? And then you got a couple of the best pass rushers off the board. It's not a great defensive draft. You know what? You could always use a good offensive lineman. I like Austin Jackson, the offensive tackle from USC. So I'm going to go Austin Jackson.
Then we go to the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 20.
See, they could use some receivers. They already took Lamb. Never mind.
Yeah.
They could use some defensive help. I think they go with the best available. I think they take Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma.
Some say Julian Akawara, Notre Dame.
Who?
Julian Akawara from Notre Dame.
No, I'm saying who I picked, Kenneth Murray.
Next, 21, the Philadelphia Eagles.
They need wide receivers. Denzel Mims is the best guy.
22, Minnesota Vikings.
They need wide receivers. It's a good wide receiver draft. Let's go Brandon Ayuk.
This is where things get tricky.
Yeah.
Then the Patriots.
Jordan Love hasn't been drafted.
They probably get him.
You know what? They want Love enough. They draft up to number. Where were the Falcons drafting?
Falcons were drafting at 16.
Who did I have the Falcons taking?
I totally forgot. I
CJ
say
Henderson,
Chasson,
right?
but I think you picked someone else.
Just leave it as is. I'll say Love fell. I think they'd trade up for him, though. So this is why I'm just kind of winging this mock. I think they take Jordan Love.
Then New Orleans Saints, which they could need a quarterback. But
Which they could have, yeah, that's the thing. They could have. That's why I think New England trades up, too. Not only because it could have been worried that possibly the Falcons decide to take a quarterback, not only I think they could be worried that the Saints trade up for a quarterback, maybe even the Packers trade up for a quarterback. So I think, I'm going to say that they stay, but there's a possibility they trade up. Grant Delpit wasn't great his junior year, and I think he hurt his stock a little bit, but he's still his tremendous upside. He's a good player. I'm going to go Grant Delpit here at 24.
then 25th goes back to Minnesota. I have a good first round.
You got a good linebacker like Patrick Queen out there. I'm going to go Patrick Queen there at 25.
Then back to the Dolphins at 26.
Okay. So I have the Dolphins taking a wide receiver, right?
I don't have that. I do not have your draft stored
I'm
on my computer.
forgetting now. Oh, okay.
You didn't send it to me.
Yeah, 26. Who do you guys have in running back? You're a Dolphin.
Let me get back to you. Hold on.
This could be a place where if your offense is struggling as much as they have been, is this a place where you possibly lean into a running back? Wait, just for a second.
Don't get lost.
Yeah, I'm driving around in these. It's kind of funny.
Enroll Minnesota.
Yeah, I'm just like winging, just kidding.
You're in the sportscast. That's the best way. Get away from. Try to get away from your kids.
Get up here.
See, this gets tricky, guys. Later part of the first round gets tricky.
I'm going to go Josh Jones, the offensive tackle from Houston. Since there's so many tackles off the board, I think he's probably the best guy out there. So I'm going to go Josh Jones.
I got Kenneth Murray, linebacker from Oklahoma.
He's a possibility there too. I'm really going offense with the Dolphins.
You are, but we gotta have a little balance here. Number 27, Seattle Seahawks.
They could go offense, but I actually think they go with an edge guy. I think they're going to lose Jadeveon Clowney. I think they go with Yetur Gross-Matos from Penn State.
Interesting. 28, Ravens.
There's another team that possibly could use another weapon for
wide receiver. They need someone.
I'm gonna go Jalen Reagor. He's an explosive, the kind of guy like Marquise Brown, though. That seems a little weird that you have. I'm trying to think of a guy that maybe offered. Oh, you know what? T. Higgins. I don't necessarily think T. Higgins is a first-round guy, but he makes sense for them. They don't really have a receiver quite like him, so I'm gonna go T. Higgins from Clemson.
The Tennessee Titans, who got Tannehill and they tagged Derrick Henry. Who does Tyler have in the draft for the Titans?
Once again, you go with the positions where draft is strong. I'm going to go with Ezra Cleveland, the offensive lineman from Boise State.
I got Tristan Wirfs, offensive tackle, Wisconsin. No, Iowa. Sorry.
Huh? Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs.
What, are you looking at a mock, or is that who you're picking?
That's what I'm guessing.
Tristan Wirfs, Santiago, is not falling this low in the draft.
Okay.
He's not falling probably out of the top 10.
We'll see. All right.
No, how do you have him falling that low? I have Wirfs going 4 or 6 because I haven't traded back. But how do you have him falling all the way to the end of the first round?
I did this, pretty fast, but I can't. I don't have time to explain it. Let's go number 30.
So you're totally winging it. I'm telling you, he's not going.
Okay, that's fine.
For all the teams that need offensive, I'm giving you some piece of knowledge. For all the teams that have the needs on the offensive line and how good. That guy was a freak at the combine. Ran sub 4.8, despite his tape sometimes not showing as good as what his athletic ability is. Tristan Wirfs is not falling out of the top 10.
Well, due to time, we got to speed this up. Green Bay Packers. Your Packers.
Well, obviously, I have guys going like crazy from the wide receiver position, so their pickings are a little slower. Oh my gosh. But then they also, if they didn't take an offensive lineman, I think that their second choice would be a tight end. There's no tight end worthy to be picked this high. Then their third would be an offensive. If it wasn't a wide receiver, then it'd be tight end, and if it wasn't a tight end, then it'd be offensive lineman. I think all the best offensive linemen are gone at this point. Then possibly a linebacker, but I have Murray gone. I have Patrick Queen gone. So I think they're going to have to reach a little here. And I think they go with KJ Hamler from Penn State. I like Hamler, and he's a speedster. That's something that they need. So I think that I don't know if Hamler should necessarily be going in the first round, but because so many wide receivers are going in the first round, and there's none of the tackles or offensive linemen that they want. So I think they pick KJ Hamler at 30.
Number 31, the San Francisco 49ers, second pick of the first round.
Well, I already had them drafted in wide receiver. They're not going to dip double there. I think they go for the best available player. I think Christian Fulton is still on the board from LSU, so I go there.
And finally, Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions.
Hey, you might as well pick one running back in the first round, right? I think they could use a running back. I think that's about the only position that they possibly need someone. I think DeAndre Swift is the most versatile running back.
I got that too in my notes. Perfect. We agree on some things like that. So except on
you gotta go back. I'm telling you, gotta go back and look at that.
That Mockup. Yeah, my Mockup. Yeah, Tristan Wirfs, I don't think he's a good player. I'm just kidding. Okay, breaking news: Flacco has been waived by the Broncos due to physical designation. So he is available along with James Winston. Not a surprise to Tyler or to Ryan Krista, I imagine. That is it. Any closing words on this week's moves and trades and changes? 60 seconds.
All I'm saying is I'm keeping an eye on where does Newton go, where does Newton go, where does Rosen go, and then I'm gonna go back and look at that mock. I feel pretty strong about my top 12. After that, I was kind of guessing, but I know I kind of have a good idea about the Packers, obviously. But I'm gonna go look at my mock and because there's nothing else going on, so I'm gonna take a strong look at the first round to see what exactly people need and what movement they can do to get what they need. And, especially people like the Dolphins with 3 picks, the Niners with 2, the Vikings with 2. Do they trade out? Do they trade back? Yeah, that's what we'll be looking at.
And those are the question marks. Of course, we'll be having an NFL draft special show with everyone from the Sportscast. And also keep in mind, there's a few quarterbacks on the block like Andy Dalton we did not mention in this show.
Oh, he did not.
But
no.
he is available. And people were telling me, why not go to the Dolphins? No, we want someone new.
Exactly.
Young. Anyways, Tyler, what's the best way to reach you online to talk to you about Cam Newton?
At TurnerCast.
And wait till I close. For any news updates, go to thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, and on Twitter at thesportscast1 for the latest and greatest. Tyter, always a pleasure.
All right, bro. Thank you.